Hello and welcome back to ERU, where we aim to bring you closer to the biggest games in European football. Now, last week we heard your complaints about just one game being covered, so this week we have got a treat for you. We are covering two games, we're giving you a star of the week, we're giving you an unsung hero, we're doing a deep dive on Barcelona's thrashing of Villarreal. It's going to be one hell of an episode, let's get into it. Now, this was Barcelona's first game of the season, coming just 69 days after the end of their last one in the league. And it's fair to say it has been the most controversial period in the club's history. Now, they were thrashed 8-2 by Bayern Munich, as we all know. Quique Setien was fired, Director of Football Eric Abidal left. Messi threatened to leave, but La Liga and Barcelona said his release clause would have to be paid in full. Ronald Koeman was appointed, Luis Suarez, their third top goalscorer of all time, was got rid of, and Rookie Puig, the sort of shining light of an otherwise campaign, to be totally honest, was told he could leave. Barcelona going into this game, no one was quite sure what was going on. Tonight they faced a Villarreal side who, in direct contrast, had what most observers would say was a pretty magnificent summer. Javier Calleja had been fired, Unai Emery had come back in. He's obviously got a very good record in Spain and looking to rebuild his reputation after a disastrous final 6 months or so at Arsenal. Santi Cazorla, Carl Toko Ekambi, Alvaro Gonzalez had all left. But in their place, Francis Coquelin had arrived, Dani Parejo, Kubo and Pervis Estupiñán had come in from Watford. So Villarreal fans were going into this with a lot of confidence, really. And that's largely because they played 2 league games going into this. Barcelona hadn't played any. They'd drawn with Huesca, they'd beaten Eibar. Gerard Moreno was on good form, but they did have the weight of history against them. They hadn't beaten Barcelona since 2008, losing 18 of their previous 24 games, in all competitions that is. And Unai Emery had never beaten Barcelona in 12 games. But let's go into the key moments in this one. So Barcelona lined up in a 4-2-3-1 formation as we thought they would. De Jong partnered Busquets in midfield. They had Ansu Fati out on the left, Griezmann out on the right, who sort of interchanged with Messi at times, and Coutinho playing in the hole. But they largely struggled to create any opportunities in the opening 15 minutes. Busquets was giving simple balls away in midfield. He actually had a bit of a shocker throughout the game, Busquets, I thought. And it wasn't the ideal start for Koeman's side. But that all changed after 15 minutes. Longley played it through to Alba, who cut it back to Ansu Fati, who was just on the left-hand side of the penalty spot. He finished with his right foot into the top left-hand corner, hammering it home. What a goal. And 3 minutes later, they had a second. Barcelona sort of initially struggled to clear their lines, interestingly. Then the ball fell to Coutinho. He ran 40-50 metres, slipped in Fati, who finished for his second. So after a shaky start, Barcelona were now 2-0 up and cruising. Through those 2 goals, Ansu Fati actually became the youngest player at 17 years and 332 days to score 10 plus goals in all competitions since the start of last season. But he wasn't done there. Oh no, because after 33 minutes, he picked up the ball on the left-hand side, beat Mario Gaspar for pace. He gave him a torrid time all evening, was tripped up. Messi could have given the ball to Fati for a first half hat-trick, but instead he tucked it away himself. That means he's now just one of 4 players to score in 17 consecutive seasons, Messi that is, with Sergio Ramos another. And after 45 minutes it got even worse. Ansu Fati with great feet again, creating space for Messi, who then crossed for Busquets, but before it even got to Busquets, Pau Torres clumsily turned it into his own net. Half-time, 4-0 down, and Barca were dominated. Villarreal had 1 shot to their 8, and Barcelona had 56% possession, but despite that completed 35 ball recoveries to Villarreal's 33, so they were working harder than them. The midfield duo of Parejo and Coquelin wasn't working at all, and there were big questions hanging over Unai Emery's side. He changed it at half-time. He took off Coquelin, he took off Paco Alcacer for Vicente Oboro, who of course used to play for Leicester. It was a kind of quiet second half, to be honest. Messi had a good effort, Trincao had a good shot as well. And Koeman managed to get on Pedri for his La Liga debut, Pjanic for his La Liga debut as well, who looked much better than Busquets, I thought, in his limited time on the pitch. And to be honest, it was a very comfortable 4-0 victory for Barcelona. In terms of key performers, well, there is a need to credit Barcelona's defence. They limited Villarreal to 1 shot on target all game. I thought Longley was excellent, but I thought Piqué was actually even better. Just sweeping up everything, didn't give Gerard Moreno any time. There was very little space there, and considering the pace they were facing in the likes of Estupiñán, Samuel Chukwueze as well, they never really looked stretched. It was a great performance. Frankie de Jong was also excellent in the centre of the park. It was slightly weird that he was playing seemingly slightly deeper than Busquets, but he had a great 90. It looked like this 89% pass accuracy, 1 tackle, 2 aerial duels won, 1 dribble and 2 key passes. And after a difficult first campaign at the Nou Camp where he came in for a certain amount of criticism, the Dutchman will be delighted with his first start of the season. Man of the match though was without doubt Ansu Fati. He was only on the pitch for 70 minutes, but he completed a tackle, completed 3 dribbles, provided 2 key passes, scored 2 goals and won a penalty too. And you've got to ask yourself the question at 17, is he the best teenager in world football? Obviously Sancho and Haaland don't qualify being 20. But he's got to be right in the mix for me. Obviously, 8 goals and 1 assist in 30 League and Champions League games last year. A lot of the bench as well, but looks like he's going to be a key member of Koeman's side. Made his Spain debut in the summer on his second appearance against Ukraine. He grabbed a goal, 2 goals in 70 minutes here. I mean, the other names in the mix, you'll maybe look at Alphonso Davies, you're maybe looking at Greenwood. But for me, Ansu Fati, it is got to be right up there. I mean, last week we talked about Vinicius Jr. not really having that end product. Ansu Fati's got everything Vinicius has and more for me. He is an ice-cold finisher in the box, always picks out the right decision, trusted by his teammates, not least Lionel Messi, who was constantly looking to find Fati. And what a start to the season for the young man. Fati best teenager in the world? It's difficult to argue with. In terms of one thing you missed, I'm going to focus on Antoine Griezmann. Now, he actually had a perfectly good game. He wasn't particularly, solid defensively, but didn't really need to be. Pervis Estupiñán was running up and down that wing all game long. I thought he looked like he's going to be fantastic for Villarreal this season. But Griezmann, 0 dribbles, 0 key passes, 1 shot. But the thing I'm most concerned about is the amount of service he got. So he only completed 22 passes. And get this, Coutinho, 44, Fati, 39, Messi, 54. It still seems like Griezmann isn't fully trusted by the rest of his teammates, and unless that starts to change, then it's difficult to see him establish himself at the Nou Camp. I thought the tactics from Unai Emery were completely baffling, to be honest. 4-4-2 with the likes of Moi Gomez, Samuel Chukwueze on the wings, and Paco Alcacer up front. Not necessarily the hardest workers, left them very exposed to the counter-attack. They now dropped to 8th in the table. For Koeman, though, dream start, impregnable defence, I should say. Very, very lethal on the counter-attack. Managed to give a debut to Trincao, who fired off a great shot. Pedri as well. Pjanic, who on the basis of that performance, I think should start the next game ahead of Busquets. He looked very tidy indeed. And they've got Serginho Dest seemingly coming in this week as well as potentially a couple of other additions. So Barcelona fans, you must surely be delighted with that performance. Who are your standout men? Let me know in the comments down below. And let's move on to our second game. So for our second game, I mean, I could have talked about loads of games around Europe. It simply was a mental weekend of action, but I've chosen to focus on Inter Milan, who came back from 3-2 down in the 86th minute to win 4-3 against Fiorentina at the San Siro with the Danilo D'Ambrosio 88th minute headed winner. Now it's the Nerazzurri's first league game of the season following a delayed start after their Europa League exploits, and you've got to say, before we start, Conte did have to play a slightly understrength defence at least. Kolarov, Bastoni and D'Ambrosio had to start at the back because Godin's gone to Cagliari, Skriniar's looking like he might leave at some stage, and De Vrij was suspended. So not the ideal start for Conte, at least in terms of setting his side up. And there was room to worry in terms of the performance too. I mean, the stats don't really paint the whole picture. They had 67% possession, they had 21 shots with 8 on target to Laviola's 10 and 4. But Fiorentina created by far the better opportunities. XG had it at 2.3 to 1.7. And Conte was pulling out his fake hair at points. He was panicking, really. He had to throw on Hakimi, Sensi, Vidal, Nainggolan, and Alexis Sanchez with a loss incoming. And one substitute in particular was vital to the turnaround. Alexis Sanchez set up Hakimi, whose cutback went back to Lukaku for 3-3. And then Alexis Sanchez continued his good form from the end of last season, worked a short corner, crossed it in for D'Ambrosio to get the winner. So massive impact from Alexis Sanchez as he continues his renaissance in Milan. For Fiorentina, this felt pretty cruel, to be honest. They'd taken the lead very deservedly through a Kouame opener after being set up by Bonaventura, of course, of ex-AC Milan, so that would have been even more painful. And 2 excellent goals for Chiesa and Castrovilli after excellent runs and passes from Franck Ribéry, who proved aged is just a number. He still got it. Franck Ribéry was sensational in this one. Giuseppe Lascini's men can take a lot of confidence from this performance, and it's topped off a really good summer from them. They brought in Alfred Duncan and Paul Arola from Fiorentina, Christian Kwame from Genoa, and Bonaventura and Borja Vallejo on frees as well. Their one concern though, the future of Federico Chiesa. He's been linked to the move for about 2 years now, and Juventus and AC Milan are after him. Their president, Rocco Commisso, said he is free to leave if the right offer comes in. Now, that is expected to be 70 million euros, which for me, personally, is a little bit overpriced on the basis of his performances last year. Let me know if you guys agree with that. But Calcio Mercato claim that he could be brought in on loan with an option to buy for 50 million euros, which would seem like a much more sensible offer at this time. But, Serie A fans, we want to know from you, do you think he'd be better suited for AC Milan or Juventus, and why? Let me know in the comments. In terms of key performers in this game, Ashley Young created 3 chances. Lautaro Martinez grabbed a goal and sort of through his industry set up another, that own goal as well. What a phenomenal striker Lautaro Martinez is. Typically Argentine in his style of play. Never gives up, really sort of hustle, bustle, chases after every ball, lethal in the box. What a talent he is as well. But Inter's best performer, Nicolo Barella. 5 tackles and interceptions, 2 aerial duels won, 1 shot, 3 key passes and 1 assist. Superb display as he continues that comeback from injury. Man of the match though, I mentioned him before, has to be Franck Ribéry. Still got it at 37 guys. Age is just a number. Same with hairlines. It's just a sign, you know, it's not the end of the world. Anyway, back to Franck Ribéry. His hair, not so good either, I've got to say, but he was phenomenal in this game. 5 dribbles, 1 interception, 5 key passes, 2 assists, and just generally running the show. Gotta say, pretty gutted for Fiorentina. Thought they played really well in this game. But Inter showing that never say die attitude, just getting the job done under Antonio Conte, you know, with his win at all costs philosophy. Shock horror, it's been done. And with Juventus dropping points against Roma despite 2 Ronaldo headers, or 2 Ronaldo goals I should say, Inter Milan have an opportunity to go ahead of Juventus if they beat Benevento on Wednesday, who actually won their opening game 3-2. So a fantastic opportunity for Inter Milan to establish a little bit of a lead early doors. But well done to Inter Milan for getting it done. Well done to Alexis Sanchez. But hats off and congratulations mainly to Franck Ribéry. Now it's time for start of the week, and our suggestion, loads of people were suggesting this, but I picked out Joe D. Shepherd, who suggested Luis Suarez, who came off the bench for Atletico Madrid in the 70th minute, grabbed an assist with his first touch and 2 goals as Atletico Madrid thrashed Granada 6-1 at the Wanda Metropolitano. The 33-year-old, of course, only completed his move to Atleti on Friday, but he put all the chaos of changing to a new club, changing to a new city behind him. And of course, that move only cost £6 million. I think that can rise depending on conditions to do with the Champions League. But he appeared motivated, he appeared angry, and no surprise really with the way he's been treated by Barcelona. He fired off 4 shots, created a chance, grabbed a goal and an assist, as I said. And it was actually a magnificent attacking display from Atleti against no mugs in Granada. They finished 7th last year. They had 17 shots at Atleti with 10 on target, which is way above their season average of last year of 12 and 3.8. So promising signs for Atleti. And João Felix also looks magnificent, I have to say. Really good to see him heavily involved with play, linking up well with Diego Costa before he went off, who also looked sharp. But João Felix, 4 dribbles, 3 key passes, 3 shots, 1 goal, 1 assist. I mean, it looks like there's no outstanding candidate for La Liga so far this season. I think I'll say that at the moment. Let me know if you disagree with that. But could Atleti challenge for the title? I mean, properly challenge for the title this year? Let me know in the comments down below. And let's move on to our unsung hero. This one came in from Serge the Chef. I assume that's a reference to Serge Gnabry, and he put his allegiance to Gnabry behind him to recommend Andrej Kramaric, who put in a magnificent display in Hoffenheim's 4-1 victory over Bayern Munich. Who saw that coming? I certainly didn't. What is going on this weekend in the world of football? No one expected this to happen. 32 games unbeaten for Bayern. They hadn't lost since losing to Borussia Mönchengladbach back in December 2-1. But Hoffenheim were more than worthy winners. They had just 28% of the ball, but they carved out 17 shots with 8 on target to Bayern's 16 and 4. XG had it at 2.5 to 1.2, and Hoffenheim were just lethal on the counter-attack. Bayern Munich's high line, we know what they're like. We know that they've got a susceptibility to set pieces as well, but Hoffenheim on the break just tore them apart. Kramaric was central to it as well. He scored a lovely cushioned volley and then wrapped it up in the 92nd minute with a penalty after Bebu was brought down by Neuer, who only got a yellow card. Possibly could have been a red given it was a goal-scoring opportunity. But he was left all at sea by first Kimmich and then David Alaba, who went to ground far too early. Really, really shocking defending from some really experienced Bayern players throughout the side. Boateng also had a bit of a mare as well. Wasn't a good display for him. But Kramaric, on the other hand, let's get back to him because his 90 was incredible. 1 dribble, 1 key pass, 8 shots though. That's the key bit. More than double anyone else on the pitch. He has now scored, get this, a ridiculous 12 goals in his last 5 games. An average of 1 every 38 minutes. Head explode. Mental. Well done, Kramaric. Really good stuff. And I was thinking about this when I was sort of thinking about what I'd say in this section about Kramaric. And he's actually contributed 19 league goals in 3 of his last 4 seasons. But whenever I hear discussions about who the best player is in the Bundesliga, he rarely comes up. I'm going to put to you, Kramaric is the most underrated player in Europe, especially with Ilicic getting so much praise over the last 12 months. What do you think about that? Put your comments in the comments section. This will be particularly hard for Bayern to stomach. Not only are Hoffenheim now going top of their league in their rightful spot as they'll see, obviously there's plenty of time to recover, but they're managed by Sebastian Hoeneß, nephew of Uli Hoeneß, their president, so this will be particularly difficult. But yeah, shocking display from Bayern. Hansi Flick fraud? No, I'm joking. But seriously, who saw that coming? What a weekend of football. And guys, that's all we've got time for on ERU. I hope you guys enjoyed this week's episode. We certainly had more goals to talk about and what drama throughout Europe. Let me know what you guys thought of it in the comment section down below. As I said earlier, don't forget to like the video and leave a comment, and I'll see you next time. Bye!